Good morning, students. So today onwards we will be starting a special classes for NEET exam. Okay, before starting NEET exam, we should know what the NEET means. Once we clear NEET exam, what are the benefits and about how the question paper will be there in the NEET exam. What is the question paper pattern? What are the different types of questions they can ask? About that we have to discuss. Okay, so I will give you a brief introduction about NEET. What is NEET and what are the things which are involved in it. So NEET means National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test. Entrance test. So it is a national level exam. So before NEET, there were several exams like CET. CET was there, COMEDK was there, COMEDK, AIPMT, AFMC. So there are different kinds of bodies which used to take exams for medical entrance. It's a medical entrance test. Entrance exams. Previously, there were several exams, CET, COMEDK, several organizations, they used to conduct their own exams. Okay. So after that, the government has decided to club all these exams, making a simple exam, that is NEET. This is a common exam which gives you entrance to medical examination, medical colleges. Okay, so if you can clear the NEET exam, you can get medical seat anywhere anywhere or any best organization in India. Okay, so all over India, you can get a seat, medical seat, if you can get a good rank. Got it? So mainly I will try to tell you about what is the pattern of exam NEET. So NEET exam generally contains total 180 questions. 180 questions, which include, for NEET exam we will be considering three subjects: physics, chemistry and biology. Okay, so there are total number of questions, there is 180 questions. Total number of questions is 180. So among them 45 questions will be of physics and 45 questions will be of chemistry and 90 questions from biology. Got it? So in total 45 questions which are going to be asked in the NEET exam, which will be including both first year of PUC as well as second year. Got it? So same here, chemistry will also include the same, both first year topics as well as second year topics. Biology will also be there in the same pattern, first year and second year. Got it? So it's a PUC, generally PUC is a 2-year course generally. Okay, so since from the first year, when you step into the college, first year, right, from that you have to start the study, and up to the end of PUC second year. So all types of questions will be there. Okay. Now let us talk about biology, because I am a biology lecturer. I will be discussing about biology more topics. Okay. So as you are getting entry to the medical colleges, so you will be handling persons, right? So you will be handling various persons or patients, right? So to understand the behavior of the patients or the organs and what are the types of organs present in the human body or any not only human body, animal body. Okay, so the medical test will be for different courses. For example, MBBS, BDS, MBBS, BDS, veterinary is also there. Veterinary also there, agriculture. So all those things, this biology is very important, right? So now coming to biology, the biology questions will be of total 90 questions. Okay, the number of questions is total number of questions is 180 in NEET exam. Sorry, for total number of questions 180. Each question will carry 4 marks. Not only biology, all PCG, physics, chemistry and biology, all questions will be asked for 4 marks. Okay, and there is negative marking for each wrong answer. Negative marks for each wrong answer. Each wrong answer. So that is, say for example, one question will give you 4 marks. One question will give you 4 marks. One right question will give you 4 marks. Okay. If you make it, say for example, first question you have attempted successfully, you have got 4 marks. Right. So in the second question, suppose you have done a mistake here. Okay, so here if you do a mistake, 1 mark will be deducted. 1 mark will be deducted. That means 4 minus 1 will give you 3 marks. Right? So this is how negative marks is there. 0.25 mark for one question, there is 1 mark deduction. If you write correctly, if you answer correctly, you will get 4 marks, or if you write wrong answer, then the 1 mark will be deducted from your complete score. So this is how the exam is. So here chances of writing wrong here while attempting the NEET exam, you should be very thorough with the subject so that no negative marks can be deducted from the right answers. Say for example, if you know, say for example, you have scored, if you have 10 mark questions, you have answered correctly. 10 questions you have answered correctly means you will get 40 marks. Okay. Suppose if you write any wrong answer in that, so the total number 40, if 40 marks in country, otherwise the marks deduct. To avoid that, you should answer only correct answer. When you have 100% confidence that you know the answer. Say for example, I ask some question. If you know the answer correctly, then only you have to answer. Okay. Suppose in your mind you have any kind of doubt whether it is answer. Say for example, option A or B confusion is one time. Okay. So A answer correct, B answer correct. In that case, my personal suggestion is to avoid that question. Skip that question. Don't try to attempt it. Whenever you have 100% confidence, then only you have to attempt the question. Okay. So if you have any kind of doubt in your mind, then it is better to skip that question. Got it? To save the deduction of 1 mark. Because it is a national level exam, each marks is will be of very important. Each mark which you will score will give you a better ranking. Say for example, the number of students in the last year who attempted NEET is more than 6 lakh. More than 6 lakh. I don't know exact number, but approximately 6 lakh. Okay. ಸೊ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೆವಿ ಇರ್ತದ್ರಿ, ಬರೀ 1 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ತಗೊಂಡ್ರಂದ್ರೆ 1 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಮೈನಸ್ ಆತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ರೊಳಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ರ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ 100,000 ಗಂಟೆ ಹೋಗೋ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. 1 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮಿಸ್ ಆತಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಇಲ್ಲಿ, try to avoid the doubtful questions, try to skip the doubtful questions, or ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಏನೋ ಹಾಕಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ 4 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಬರ್ತಾವ ಅಂತ ಹಾಕೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡ್ರಿ, ಹಾಕಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಡೀರಿ. ಓಕೆ, 4 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾವು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಹಾಟೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಬೈ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಿಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, 1 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಮೈನಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ರ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಭಾಳ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಈಗ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಸಜೆಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಡೌಟ್ಫುಲ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಅಂದಾಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಸ್ಕಿಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಬೆಟರ್. ಓಕೆ, and total 180 questions into 4 marks, that means 720 marks. 4 on the 4 is the 32. Okay, 720 total marks is need question for ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, total 720 marks. So you have to answer, this is 3-hour question, 3-hour exam. Okay, so 3 class exam, that means 180 questions and 180 minutes. Got it? So here each minute one question ಬಿಡಿಸಬೇಕು. Okay, either physics or chemistry or biology. Got it? So here you have to take care of your time also. Okay, it's very important to take care of your time. ಏನಪ್ಪ ಒಂದೇ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ದೈತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಲೆಂದಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಬೈ ಚಾನ್ಸ್, ಈ ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆ ಡೆರಿವೇಶನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಏನೋ ಡೆರಿವೇಶನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಬಿಡಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಆ ಟೈಮ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು, ಆ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ಗೆ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ 5 to 10 minutes ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾದ್ರಿ 10 minutes ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್, ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ 2 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಈಗ ಯಾವ ಲೆಂದಿ ಇರ್ತಾವೋ ಅವನ್ನ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಡ್ಬೋದು, ಬೈ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸೇವ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಆ ಲೆಂದಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಈಸಿ ಇದ್ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಮೊದಲು ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದು ತಿಳಿದ್ರಿ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಈಗ ನೀಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ನೀಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಥರೋ ವಿತ್ ದ ಥೆರಟಿಕಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ನೀಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ಯುವರ್ NCERT ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ NCERT ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 99.9% ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬರ್ತವೆ. ನೀಟ್ ನಿಮ್ದು NCERT ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಅದರೊಳಗಿಂದ. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಪ್ಪ, ಈ NCERT ಬುಕ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಈಚ್ and every line of that NCERT textbook is very important. Okay, you should understand each and every line of the NCERT book. Got it? So ಅದನ್ನ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ನೀಟ್ ಕ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಈಸಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, so this is about a brief idea of NEET exam. Then now we will try to understand we will start with the first topic, that is reproduction in organisms. The first topic is reproduction in organisms. I will try to tell you very important questions which can be asked in the NEET exam. Got it? So before starting this class, I will just think that I just hope that you have already completed this chapter once. You have thoroughly read the first chapter, reproduction in organisms. So you ಓದಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡೆ ನಾನು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಓಕೆ, and I will give you a slide notes or slightly explain the things which are involved in reproduction in organism. Okay, so we'll start with the heading itself. First, reproduction. Okay, what is reproduction? Reproduction is nothing but it's a biological process. It is a biological process in which an adult organism will give rise to offspring, will give rise to offspring more or less similar to, or just like another organism will give rise to offspring which is similar to itself, which is similar to itself. Okay, the definition is it's a biological process in which adult or parent organism will give rise to or give birth to offspring which is similar to itself. Got it? So ಅದೇ ತರ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಜೀವಿ ಅದೇ ತರಹದ ಜೀವಿಗೆ ಜನ್ಮ ನೀಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ನಾವು ರೀಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದೆನ್ there are, before understanding this reproduction, we have to understand the growth phases of the organism. There are different growth phases such as juvenile phase, reproductive phase, then senescent phase, and death phase. There are mainly 4 kinds of phases in the growth of the organism. Okay, juvenile phase, or it is also called as vegetative phase in plants. Vegetative phase in plants. Andre juvenile phase means starting from birth until it becomes sexually mature. Okay, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಏನ್ period, the period in which the baby grows until it becomes sexually mature. So ಆ phase ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು juvenile phase ಅಂತ, growth phase. Okay, growth phase ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಬೇಬಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಹುಟ್ಟಿ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಬರುವವರೆಗೂ, ಬಂದಾಗಲ್ಲ ಬರೋವರೆಗೂ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಬರೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚಿನ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇನ್ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಐತಲ್ರಿ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ ಬರುವಂತದ್ದು, ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆಫೀಸ್, ಸೊ ದ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಬರ್ತ್ ಟು maturity, the period between birth to maturity. Maturity is reproduction ಮಾಡೋ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಬರೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚಿನ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್. ಮ್ಯಾಚುರಿಟಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದದ್ದು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದ period between birth to maturity, that period is known as juvenile phase. Okay, juvenile phase. In animals it is called as juvenile phase, and in plants it is called as vegetative phase. Got it? Then second is ಇದು juvenile phase, birth to maturity. Okay, so next phase is reproductive phase. Reproductive phase means beginning of reproduction. Beginning of reproduction to end of reproductive phase. The person or the organism first ability maturity phase, the maturity phase or reproductive phase ಎರಡು ಒಂದೇ. maturity phase ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ನಾವು reproductive phase. ಅದರ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನ್ರಿ, it's a beginning of reproductive phase. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ರಿ, here the organism gets the ability to reproduce. Okay, the organism ಗೆ ಮರಿ ಹಾಕುವಂತ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ ಗೆ ತನ್ನದೇ ತದ್ರೂಪಿ ಅಥವಾ ತನ್ನದೇ ಆದಂತ ಮರಿಯನ್ನು ಹಾಕುವಂತ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ನಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತನ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮರಿ ಕೊಡುವಂತ ಏನು ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಇರ್ತಲ್ರಿ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದ ಬಿಗಿನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ reproduction ಅನ್ನೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ beginning of gamete production or sexual reproduction ಬರುತ್ತೆ. beginning of reproduction reproduction beginning of reproduction ಅಂದ್ರೆ first beginning ಅಂದ್ರೆ first baby ಹುಟ್ಟಿಸುವಂತ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತನ ಆ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಗೆ ಬೇಬಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿಸುವಂತ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಬೇಬಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿಸುವಂತ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ನೇ ಮುಂದೆ ಹುಟ್ಟಿಸಕ್ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಆ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಏನ್ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ನಾವು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ reproductive phase ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ದೆನ್ senescent phase ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. senescent ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, senescent ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. senescent phase is nothing but end of reproductive phase until death. reproductive stage ಮುಗಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ that the indication of senescent phase ಇದಲ್ರಿ. ಸೊ reproduction ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುವಂತ ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಮುಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಮುಗಿದಿಂದ it is the beginning of senescent phase ತಿಳಿದ್ರಿ. ಸೊ senescent phase ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ up to death, ಸಾಯೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ. ಅದೇ ವಯಸ್ಸಾದ ವೃದ್ಧಾಪ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ನಾವು, ಆ ತರ senescent phase ವೃದ್ಧಾಪ್ಯ ಅನ್ನೋದು ತಿಳಿದ್ರಿ. ಸೊ senescent phase is nothing but end of reproductive phase from end of reproductive phase until the death of the organism. So that is senescent phase. Finally death phase. So organism it cannot survive, adukka sardutta ಆ phase ಗೆ death phase ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. So these are 4 different phases of the growth. Okay, then so these 4 phases of growth ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ ನಾನು vegetative phase or juvenile phase, then reproductive phase, then senescent phase and death phase. So one ಜೀವಿ or life span ಒಳಗೆ all phases ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾವೆ. life span ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. life span, the life span include all 4 stages, that is juvenile phase or vegetative phase, reproductive phase and senescent phase and death phase. Okay, ಇವೆಲ್ಲ phases ಒಂದು ಲೈಫ್ ಒಂದು ಜೀವಿತಾವಧಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾವೆ. Okay, so now we should understand what lifespan is. Okay, so lifespan ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ರಿ? Lifespan is nothing but it is a period from birth to natural death of the organism. Death of the organism. ಈ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದಿಂದ ಸಾಯೋತನ. ಓಕೆ, ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲಿ ಯಾವ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸಾಯಿಸೋದಲ್ಲ, ವಯಸ್ಸಾಗಿ ಸಾಯೋದು ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಆ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್. ದ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಬರ್ತ್ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದಿಂದ ಅದು ವಯಸ್ಸಾಗಿ ಸಾಯುವವರೆಗೂ ಏನು ನಡುವಿನ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ವಯಸ್ಸಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಕರಿತೀವಿ ನಾವು ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಜೆನೆಟಿಕ್ ಟ್ರೇಟ್. ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಜೆನೆಟಿಕ್ ಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. It's a genetic trait. For example, lifespan is a genetic trait. Say for example, there are different kinds of, in your NCERT book, different kinds of animals and their ages are given. Okay, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ. So I will write ಯಾವ್ದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನು ಬರೀರಿ. Okay, first age of butterfly is given in the next book. Butterfly, crow is also given, then parrot is given, then tortoise is given. Okay, so if butterfly age 1 to 2 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks, Crows is around 50 years. Parrot 140 years. Tortoise 100 to 150 years. Okay, so here first term number protein into lifespan is a genetic trait ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. Okay, you see the sizes of the different organisms here: butterfly, crow, parrot, tortoise. The size is different. Butterfly बड़ा सा होता है. It is and crow and parrot are almost same size. Crow and parrot almost same size. Okay. Then tortoise. Okay. First we will understand this. Here, lifespan is a genetic trait. Adartha butterfly do life 1 to 2 weeks and already it's written on its DNA pattern. Okay, it's a character, this character which is present on its gene. Okay, the butterfly life yes is gene value. Okay, it's a genetic trait. The lifespan depends on the genetic information which is present. Right, that's a genetic trait, genetic character. It does not depend on lifespan does not depend on the size of the organism. So this is generally regularly asked question. Okay, lifespan, whether it is a genetic trait, other option ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Lifespan ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ first question. Then whether it is genetic trait or it is a physical trait or it depends on the size of the organism. Like none of these. There are different questions ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. So now we have to understand. It is lifespan is a genetic trait. Okay, each individual's life is written on its DNA pattern. Right, so each particular butterfly ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ಬದುಕಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಆ butterfly genome ಮೇಲೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ DNA ಮೇಲೆ. ಅದೇ ತರ crow, you see here, crow and parrot are almost the same size. Crow and parrot, ಕಾಗೆ ಮತ್ತು parrot ಇದು size almost same ಇರುತ್ತೆ. But you see the lifespan here, crow only lives for 15 years whereas parrot lives for 140 years. Right, ಅದರ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನ್ರಿ, it does not depend on its size. ಆಕಾರ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದಂಗ ವಯಸ್ಸು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರ್ತದಂತಲ್ಲ, ಆಕಾರ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇದ್ದ ವಯಸ್ಸು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರ್ತದಂತಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಆಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ವಯಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಏನು ಸಂಬಂಧ ಬರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. there is no relation between the age and the size of the organism. Got it? That here you can see crow age is 15 years and parrot lives for 140 years. The size is almost same, right? Then tortoise lives for 100 to 150 years. Okay, so these things you have to understand. Now we will fill the other organisms. ಅಂದ್ರೆ NCERT book ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾರೆ, fill ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಖಾಲಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟಾರೆ. So ಆದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ questions ಕೇಳೋ chances ಇದೆ. So now we have to understand all the organisms which are listed in the NCERT book along with some new organisms na ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. Each lifespan, okay, it's a very important topic, lifespan. On this also last 2019, probably 2019, one question is asked for 4 months. Okay, so generally here on reproduction in organism, generally 1 to 2 questions will be asked. One in the ಎರಡು question mark. 1 to 2 questions will be asked in the NEET exam. So total 8 marks ಬರೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಈ ಡ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ reproduction in organism. Okay, so now we'll try to understand the lifespans of remaining organisms. I have listed some over here. Elephant, we'll write elephant. Elephant will live for around 60 to 70 years. Or generally in every terms, exactly same way, 1 to 2 weeks, 15 years, 140 years, 100 and 150 years, for 60 to 70 years. Idu exact years and please. It may vary. Okay. So 75 years or say for example human beings ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರು ಏನಾಗ್ತಿರೋ 70 years ಗೆ ಸಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ ವಯಸ್ಸಾಗಿ, ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರು 80 ಆದ್ರೂ ಸಾಯಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರು 90 ಆದ್ರೂ ಸಾಯಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರು 110, 120 years, 130 years ಬದುಕಿದ್ರು. Okay, this is average lifetime. Okay, generally ಇದರಿಂದ ನಾವು 75 years ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Elephant lives for 75 years. Okay, then rose bush will live for around 10 years. Then dog will live for 20 years, 20 to 25. Then mango tree will live for 200 years. Then rice plant will 3 to 4 months. Then cow 25 years. Then people tree 250 years. Sorry, people 2500 years. 2500 years. Then banana tree will live for 25 years. Then horse will live for 50 years. Then crocodile, right here, crocodile will live for 60 years. And fruit fly will live for 40 to 50 days. Then banyan tree, I will write here banyan tree will live for 500 years. Then dog, cow. Okay, so these are few of the examples of lifespans. Okay, so these can be asked in the exam in a chronological order. Say for example, ಯಾವ ತರ original question ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಕೆಲವು ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಬಟರ್ಫ್ಲೈ, ಕ್ರೌ, ಪ್ಯಾರಟ್, ಟೋರ್ಟೈಸ್, ಕ್ರೊಕೊಡೈಲ್, ಇವನ್ನ ಅರೇಂಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಒಂದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಬರೆದಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೇ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ರೈಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್. Say for example, sometimes the lifespans may be asked in different type of question. That is, say for example, parrot ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Sorry. Parrot, crow, and butterfly, and tortoise. Okay, sometimes ಈ ತರ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ 4-5 ಥರದ ಪಕ್ಷಿ ಹೆಸರು ಅಥವಾ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ ಹೆಸರು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಪ್ಯಾರಟ್, ಕ್ರೌ, ಬಟರ್ಫ್ಲೈ and tortoise. Arrange them according to the ascending order of their arrange them according to the ascending order of their lifespan ಅಂತಾನು ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. Okay, ಸೊ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಎ ಬಿ ಸಿ ಡಿ ನಾಲ್ಕು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳೋದು. ಅರೇಂಜ್ ದೆಮ್ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಎಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಟ್ 140 ಇಯರ್ಸ್, crow 15 year, butterfly 1 to 2 weeks, tortoise 150 year. So in ಮಾಡಿ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ದೆಮ್ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು their ascending order ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಗೆ 1 to 2 weeks ಮೊದಲು ಬರ್ತೈತಿ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಬರ್ತೈತಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 15 years ಬರ್ತೈತಿ, ದೆನ್ 140, ದೆನ್ 150. ಸೊ ಈ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಬರೀರಿ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. ಓಕೆ, ನಾವು I forgot to tell you one more point regarding to lifespan. That is, lifespan, it may be less than 1 day to more than 4,000 years. Lifespan of ಕೆಲವೊಂದು organism, for example bacteria, ಅದರ lifespan less than 1 day ಇರುತ್ತೆ, several minutes. So ಅಷ್ಟರೊಳಗೆ lifespan ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. Okay, in ಕೆಲವೊಂದು organism it is more than 4,000 years. For example, the oldest plant is known as Laria tridentata. Laria tridentata. So it is the oldest plant which lives in a desert near California. That is North America. Okay, so this is known to be 11,700 year old. 11,700 year old. So this is a very long stretch, less than 1 day, more than 4,000 years old lifespan. So oldest known plant is said to be Laria tridentata. That is, it is present in the desert of California near North America. Okay, so ಈ ತರ lifespan it may vary. Okay, now we'll move to the next aspect, that is reproduction. We have already seen the definition of the reproduction. Okay, so the reproduction may be asexual reproduction or sexual reproduction. It may be asexual reproduction or it may be sexual reproduction. There are mainly two types. In again asexual reproduction, it is in plants. This asexual reproduction is called as vegetative reproduction. Vegetative reproduction. In case of animals ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು asexual reproduction ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Or when we are referring to plants, we call it as vegetative reproduction. So now we have to understand few differences of asexual reproduction as well as sexual reproduction. The main difference here is asexual reproduction is generally found in lower plants, lower organisms, such as plants, fungi, bacteria and protozoa. Lower organisms. And this sexual reproduction is found in higher organisms, generally higher organisms. Again here animals, plants, animals, plants, fungi, bacteria, same. Fungi, bacteria or fungi and protozoa, bacteria bada, bacteria illoru bardati but bad. So higher organisms generally ಎರಡು ಸೇಮ್ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು ನಾವು, ಬಟ್ there are higher organisms as well as lower organisms in animals as well as plants, right? So the generally asexual reproduction is found in lower organisms. Okay, then the second point here is the asexual reproduction. Generally here single parent is involved, that is it is uniparental, whereas sexual reproduction is biparental. Generally asexual reproduction ಒಳಗೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ single parent is involved. From the single parent only, the single parent only is able to reproduce. Okay, so whereas in sexual reproduction we need two partners or a parent or mother way to father way sexual reproduction. Got it? So here no gamete formation is required. No gamete formation is present. Okay, whereas in a sexual reproduction male gamete formation involves, gamete formation is present, that is male organism will produce male gamete and female organism will produce female gamete. Okay, whenever we are referring to sexual reproduction, so sexual reproduction there is involvement of two kinds of gametes. Okay, male partner will produce male gamete whereas female partner will produce female gamete. Got it? The fusion of gamete is there, whereas here in asexual reproduction there is no fertilization. No fertilization. Here fertilization takes place. That is fusion of gametes. Here in the asexual reproduction there is no fertilization. Fertilization yavaga male and female fuse agasta fertilization, because there are no gametes in asexual reproduction. There are no gametes, so there is no any fusion of the gametes. Gametes say another fusion illa, right? So there is no gametes, so there is no fertilization. Okay, whereas in the sexual reproduction gametes are there, male gamete will be there and female gamete will be there. The fusion of these two gametes takes place. The fusion is called as fertilization of syngamy. Fertilization, fusion of syngamy na kartiyo. Okay, so syngamy, that is fusion of gametes, then it will lead to fertilization, right? So ille sexual reproduction ka fertilization hai. Then here in chromosome number, so number remains same throughout the progeny, through its progeny. But here chromosome number generally parent or diploid condition whereas gamete haploid condition. So here we have to write diploid parent and haploid gamete. Two conditions are available here. Okay, whereas in asexual reproduction, three chromosome number remains same throughout the lifespan. So it is always 12. Okay, it is diploid state, asexual reproduction. Whereas in sexual reproduction, a diploid parent will be there. That diploid parent will produce haploid gametes, right? So haploid as well as diploid conditions available. Okay, then next other important thing is in asexual reproduction generally mitotic division will take place. Mitosis or Mitosis is present. Mitosis. The cell division takes place by mitosis. Whereas in sexual reproduction is generally both mitotic and meiotic. Sexual reproduction होगा gamete formation ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ meiosis ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So parent is the diploid parent is the haploid gamete formation ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ meiosis ಇದೆ. Whereas as fusion ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ divide ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ cell double ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದು mitosis mitotically divide ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Zygote formation ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ zygote ಒಂದು zygote ಇಂದ 2 2ರಿಂದ 4 4ರಿಂದ 8 3 ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ blastocyst stage ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಲ್ರಿ. So ಆ ಟೈಮ್ mitotic division ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, that means both mitotic as well as meiotic divisions are present in sexual reproduction. Whereas in asexual reproduction only mitotic division is there. Got it? Then asexual reproduction again here involvement as here there is no involvement of any special kinds of organs. Sexual reproduction ಒಳಗ ಯಾವುದು asexual reproduction ಒಳಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ special reproductive structures necessary ಇಲ್ಲ. Okay, whereas in sexual reproduction here a male sexual reproductive structure is different as well as female reproductive structure is different. Sexual reproduction ಒಳಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ here ಎರಡು ಇರ್ತಾವೆ male reproductive structures ಅದು ಇರುತ್ತೆ and female reproductive structure ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Whereas in asexual reproduction there is no need of any specialized structure for reproduction. Got it? So these are few of the important points regarding to reproduction or differences ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು sexual reproduction as well as asexual reproduction. Now we'll discuss about different types of reproduction. First we start with asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction. So here as we all know uniparental asexual reproduction is uniparental. Here only single parent is involved in producing its young ones. Okay, ಒಂದೇ parent ಇಂದ ಅದರ ಮಗು ಹುಟ್ಟುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so now there are different types of sexual reproduction. First one is fission. First one is fission. The most common type of fission is binary fission. Right here, most common type is binary fission. Binary fission, for example, amoeba or again type of we will try to tell you. First fission again there are different types of binary fissions that we will try to understand. Fission means, say for example, organism there. I will take an example of amoeba. Okay, on the organism. Fission again the organism first what happens? Amoeba reproduction ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ first ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ the organism increases its size ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಮೀಬಾದು and size ಯಾಕೆ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ reproduction ಬೇಕಾದ material ನ ಡಬಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. Okay, means here the required things which are needed for the reproduction they are produced inside the organism. So the size of the organism is generally it becomes large. Okay, then what happens? First karyokinesis will take place. Karyokinesis, that means division of nucleus. One nucleus into ಎರಡು nucleus ಆಗಿ divide ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. This karyokinesis is followed by cytokinesis. Okay, so this we have already studied in mitotic division. If you have studied mitosis, just remember the phases, how the division of cell take place: prophase, metaphase, anaphase and telophase. All those steps you have to remember. In the same similar fashion, the binary fission will take place, right? So first karyokinesis, that means the duplication of nucleus ಹೊಂದಿದೆ ನಾವು ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, the cell cleavage furrow will appear here, ಈ ಕಡೆ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರೋಮೋಸೋಮ್ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರೋಮೋಸೋಮ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ, then finally it divides into two equal organisms. So this is called as fission ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Okay, so now there are again different types in fission that we have to understand. Two daughter cells, right? Single parent in that. This is already haploid. This is diploid, and again here it will become diploid. It follows mitotic division. Okay, so mitosis ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ ನಾನು ಮುಂದೆ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. Okay, so this is how fission takes place. Now there are again different types of fission. First is binary fission. Binary fission already, the organism single parent will be divided into two equal parts, okay, or two parts. So here in the binary fission again several types are there. That is, first one is irregular or simple or aplanar binary fission ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Binary fission, all these terminologies are same, okay? Irregular binary fission ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಒಂದೇ, simple binary fission ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಒಂದೇ, ಅಥವಾ aplanar binary fission ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಒಂದೇ. All these three terms means the same. Okay, so here irregular binary shape example ಯಾವುದು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ? Simple example is amoeba. Amoeba is a very common example. As you know, amoeba does not possess any kind of its shape, does not have any shape, definite shape illa amoeba. Okay, say for example this is a amoeba. Here the fission may take place in any plane. ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನಾವು ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗಬಹುದು, ಈ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ನಾವು ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗಬಹುದು, ಈ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ನಾವು ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗಬಹುದು. You can the fission may take place in any direction. Okay, there is no definite direction to this kind of division. The cell ಈ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ನಾವು ಆಗಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಅಥವಾ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಆಗಬಹುದು, ಯಾವ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಇಂದ ನಾವು ಸೆಲ್ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಗಬಹುದು. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಕರೀತೀವಿ ನಾವು? Irregular or simple or aplanar binary fission. Most very important example for this is amoeba. Okay, so next is longitudinal binary fission. Longitudinal binary fission. So most common example for this is euglena. Okay, so there are three. The euglena will be like this, right? So ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, the fission will take place along the longitudinal axis. So neat ಆಗಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. Okay, so ಇದು euglena ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. This is the flagella, right? The reproduction, the binary fission will take place along the longitudinal axis. ಈ axis ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇದು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, the flagella ಈ ಕಡೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ಕಡೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ತರ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಕಡೆ ಫ್ಲಾಜೆಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಕಡೆ ಫ್ಲಾಜೆಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ exactly middle along the longitudinal axis. The fission is taking place along the longitudinal axis. Say for example, ಒಂದು ಪೊಟ್ಯಾಟೊ ತಗೊಂಡ ಉದ್ದಿಟ್ಟ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಓಕೆ, ಲಾಂಗಿಟ್ಯೂಡಲ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಏನು ಕರೀತೀವಿ? ಲಾಂಗಿಟ್ಯೂಡಲ್ ಬೈನರಿ ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್. ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಈಸ್ euglena. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇವನ್ನ ನೆನಪಿಡಬೇಕು ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ. ಇರ್ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಬೈನರಿ ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್, ಲಾಂಗಿಟ್ಯೂಡಲ್ ಬೈನರಿ ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್, ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ examples, that is more very important. Okay, so you need to remember all those things. Then transverse binary fission. Transverse binary fission, very important example for this is paramecium. Okay, transverse binary fission example of the paramecium. So as you know, paramecium is a slipper shape. The division takes place. This is gullet. We will call it as gullet. Generally, portion ke gullet ante. Division ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಯಾವ ತರ ಆಗುತ್ತಿದೆ? Here the division takes place along this direction. ಅಡ್ಡಗಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ. Okay, transverse section ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Okay, so ಅಡ್ಡ ಶ್ರೇಣಿಗೆ ನೋಡೋದಿರಲ್ಲ. Here the division will take place from the exactly from the middle. Okay, ಯಾವ ತರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಇದು? ಈ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ತರ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಎರಡು ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಮೀಸಿಯಂ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಮೈನ್ಯೂಟ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಮೀಸಿಯಂ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ತವೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಏನು ಕರೀತೀವಿ ನಾವು? ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಬೈನರಿ ಫಿಷನ್. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇಸ್ paramecium. Then there is one more example, that is oblique binary fission. Oblique binary fission. So here very important example is ceracium. Ceracium, C-E-R-A-T-I-U-M, ceracium. So this is the kind of organism. Here the structure of ceracium is like this. Okay, here the binary fission, generally the fission will take place along this one axis. The one part will be large, the other part will be small. Got it? So it is very irregular at an angle, one particular angle na division ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಕರೀತೀವಿ ನಾವು? oblique binary fission. So exactly ಅಡ್ಡನೂ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಉದ್ದನೂ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಹಿಂಗ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ತಿಳಿದ್ರಿ? ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಕರೀತೀವಿ ನಾವು? oblique binary fission. Example is ceracium. Okay, so here very important thing what you have to do is you have to remember the type of binary fission along with its example. ಇದಷ್ಟೇ ನೆನಪಿಡಬೇಕು, because it's not necessary to explain the process. We don't need the process here. Process ಏನು ನಮಗೆ only we need to understand the process, but for remembering you need to remember the types of binary fission along with its example. Okay, first binary, in the binary fission again several types. First one is irregular, simple or planar binary fission. Example for this is amoeba. And next one, longitudinal binary fission. Example for this is euglena. Then transverse binary fission. Example for this is paramecium. And oblique binary fission. Example for this is ceracium. This you need to remember. Then the second type of asexual reproduction is multiple fission. Fission first binary fission ಆಯ್ತಾ? Binary fission, then multiple fission. Multiple fission ಗೆ common examples amoeba and one more example is Plasmodium. Amoeba as well as Plasmodium. You already know that amoeba during unfavorable condition it forms cyst, right? Amoeba unfavorable condition cyst type formation. Cyst it forms a 3-layered structure around it which help the amoeba in surviving unfavorable conditions. Unfavorable condition it forms a 3-layered hard outer covering. Okay, inside the organism, here inside the amoeba will be present. So you can take now cyst formation. cyst, or the process is encystation. Encystation. So ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, inside the cyst number of amoeba will develop. ಇದೊಂದು amoeba, very minute amoeba will develop inside the cyst. ಯಾವ favorable condition ಬರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ, ಇದು cyst formation ಯಾವಾಗತ್ರಿ unfavorable condition ಇದ್ದಾಗ. Okay, so whenever favorable conditions arose, ಯಾವ favorable condition ಬರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ ಆ ಟೈಮ್ನಾಗ ಈ cyst ಒಳಗಡೆನೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, amoeba it will divide or multiple times fusion ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so then by bursting out this wall, the minute amoebocytes or ಸಣ್ಣ amoeba ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so this is multiple fission. So you can get very minute amoeba are called as spores. These are called spores. Generally, these are pseudopodiospores ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. These spores are known as pseudopodiospores. Pseudopodiospores in case of amoeba, whenever unfavorable conditions are provided to the amoeba, it will form cyst by a process called encystation. So whenever favorable conditions arise, during that time the amoeba inside the cyst divides or it will multiply by fission. Multiple fission ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, multiple fission ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸಣ್ಣ amoebocytes amoebaಗಳು ಒಳಗಡೆ cyst ಒಳಗಡೆ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. Okay, so this kind of development is known as multiple fission. Okay, the multiple fission in amoeba will lead to formation of spores. The spores which are produced are known as pseudopodiospores anta kariತಾರೆ. Okay, amoeba. Similar case in case of plasmodium. Okay, so in plasmodium ಒಳಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, here the spores which are produced are known as sporozoid or ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನು ಸೈಗೋನಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Okay, plasmodium is an organism which causes malarial parasite ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So it also divides in the similar fashion. amoeba ಯಾವ ತರ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ ತರ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Here the spores which are known as sporozoid ಅಥವಾ ಸೈಗೋನಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Sporozoid, ಇಲ್ಲಿ two kinds of stages ಬರ್ತಾವೆ. These stages will be studying in the reproductive health ಅಂತ, reproductive ಅದು disease ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾವೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, human disease. In that topic we will be studying about the life cycle of the plasmodium. Got it? So here what you have to remember is multiple fission. Example ಯಾವುದು, amoeba as well as plasmodium. Amoeba produce ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, amoeba produces pseudopodiospores and plasmodium produces sporozoids or ಸೈಗೋನಿ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So this you have to remember. The third type of next type of cell division is plasmotomy ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Plasmotomy. Example for plasmotomy is Pelomyxa, Pelomyxa, Pelomyxa opalina. These are very important examples of plasmotomy. Just like it is also fission, multiple type of fission. Multiple fission ಒಳಗೆ first amoeba ಬಂತು, paramecium ಬಂತು, and one more type in the multiple fission itself is known as plasmotomy. So plasmotomy ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ರಿ? Here the parent, say for example this is the parent. Parent is multinucleate. Parent is multinucleate. Parent ಒಳಗೆ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಬಹಳ ಇರ್ತವೆ, ಒಂದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ, ಒಂದಕ್ಕಿಂತ. Okay, so these parents give rise to multinucleate offsprings. The multinucleate parent give birth to multinucleate young ones. Okay, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ multinucleate parent ಅದೇ ತರದ multinucleate children organism ಗೆ birth ಕೊಡ್ತೈತಿ ಅಥವಾ the multinucleate organism will produce multinucleate organisms. So this kind of division is known as, this kind of reproduction is known as plasmatomy. Example for this plasmatomy is Pelomyxa and Opalina. Here are example ಬರ್ತಾವೆ. Here, as I said, here it's not necessary to understand the complete process. Here you need to remember the examples and type of fission. Right? These are very important for the point of view, point of exam view, exam point of view. Okay. Then plasmatomy means multinucleate parent organism will give rise to multinucleate young ones. So that is plasmatomy. Then one more type of fission will come, that is known as that we will study in strobylation. So one more type will be there, that is strobylation. But the next strobylation example tapeworm and Aurelia or jellyfish ಅಂತ ಬರೀತೀವಿ. Right. So here strobylation means, you see the I will try to tell you the example of tapeworm. So you just remember tapeworm ಯಾವ ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So ಈ ತರ tapeworm ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, to tapeworm will be like this. Generally, what happens? The single tapeworm, first single tapeworm irutte. While reproduction ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ the upper part of the tapeworm, this tapeworm, say for example, this is the upper part of the tapeworm, will separate from the parent. ಈ particular tapeworm fragment will separate from the parent. Okay, so this structure is known as this type of process is known as strobylation. In case of Aurelia or jellyfish, you might have seen the jellyfish like this. Jellyfish is the way. Then so under ಮೇಲೆ ಈ ತರ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ತವೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, the jellyfish will separate from the mother. ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಮದರ್ ಇಂದ ಸೆಪರೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So this will become individual organism. So this kind of reproduction is known as or separation from the parent body ಇಂದ separation ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಕರಿತೀವಿ ನಾವು strobylation ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. This strobylation will take place in case of Aurelia or jellyfish. Okay. Then the next type of asexual reproduction is budding. The next type of asexual reproduction is budding. So budding, you all know budding. For example, here we will write example of Hydra. It will give rise to a bird. Initially mock barta, mock the sun part it will multiply or it will divide rapidly and it will depart. Finally this part will separate out into new organism. But some mock barta first Hydra will be there, So initially sun ಹೋಗೋ ತರ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆ, small projection, then it grows rapidly, it grows ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋದಾಗ ಒಂದು certain stage ಬಂದಾಗ it will detach from the mother body ಇಂದ ಸೆಪರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಬಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಜನರಲಿ there are two kinds of buds. ಬಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಎರಡು ತರ ಬರ್ತವೆ. ಒಂದು exogenous budding, exogenous or external buds ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. External buds. Example for this is Hydra yeast, Cyclone button. Okay, so these are examples of exogenous budding. Here exogenous or external, which means the bud is produced outside the body of the organism. Okay, ಹೊರಗಡೆ bud produce ಆಗೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊರಗಡೆ body. Say for example ಇದು Hydra ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, bud ಹೋಗಿ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ ಬಾಡಿ ಹೊರಗಡೆ, it is visible, bud is visible or it is outside the body. So that is ಏನು ಕರೀತಾರೆ, external budding or exogenous budding ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So other type of budding is endogenous budding. Endogenous or internal buds ಅಂತ, endogenous or internal buds ಈ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನಾನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ. Endogenous or internal bud ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Example for this is sponge will produce gamules. Gamule is an internal bud. For example, in your textbook the example is given, gamule or sponge is the example ಕೊಟ್ಟ. Here minute gamules are present inside the reproductive structure. So here this kind of buds, small buds, some bud ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರ್ತವೆ. Okay, so this type of arrangement where the bud is produced inside the body of the organism, so that is known as endogenous budding or internal budding ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Okay, example is sponge, that is gamule in sponge. So is an example of budding. The other type of reproduction is fragmentation. The next is right here, fragmentation. Example for fragmentation is planaria. Planaria is an organism just like. So example for fragmentation is planaria. So planaria ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, the organism will be cut into various fragments. Say for example planaria ತಗೊಂಡು ನೀವು ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಸಣ್ಣ ಪೀಸ್ ಆಗಿ, so each part or each piece will originate itself into new organism. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈಚ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ನೀವೇ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಹೊಸ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ ಆಗಿ ಬೆಳೆಯುತ್ತೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು ಫ್ರಾಗ್ಮೆಂಟೇಷನ್. ದಿಸ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ reproduction is called as fragmentation. It is exclusively seen in the planaria. Next is spore formation. The spore formation spores are, these are, all right, spores are minute single celled thick or thin walled propagules or reproductive structures. single celled, thick or thin walled reproductive structures. They may be motile or non-motile. I will write here. Motile spores. Motile spores are called as zoospores. So these are found in Ulothrix and albugo. Motile spores are called as zoospores. These zoospores are found in Ulothrix and albugo. Example: Ulothrix and albugo. In Ulothrix and albugo, you will find motile spores. As well, non-motile spores are also present. Non-motile spores such as Conidia. Conidia is found in penicillin. In penicillin, you will find non-motile spore, that is Conidia, and another non-motile spore is Chlamydospore. Chlamydospore is found in Rhizopus. And Sporangiospores. Sporangiospores are present in Mucor. And Oidea is found in Agaricus. So these are all non-motile spores. Conidia, Chlamydospores, Sporangiospores and Oidea. Those are non-motile spores. Whereas Conidia are found in penicillin, Chlamydospores are found in Rhizopus, Sporangiospores are found in Mucor, and Oidea in Agaricus. So these are also very important for the need point of view. Got it? So ಇದನ್ನು ನೀವು ನೆನಪಿಡಬೇಕು. Motile spores have zoospores. They are found in Ulothrix. Non-motile spores, Conidia, Chlamydospores, Sporangiospores and Oidea. Okay, Conidia are found in penicillin, Chlamydospores are found in Rhizopus, Sporangiospores are found in Mucor, and Oidea are found in Agaricus. So this is about the theoretical explanation of NEET exam, first chapter. So in the next video we will try to solve the questions related to this portion. Whatever we have studied today, on that basis, what are the types of questions which are asked in the previous exams? Those things will be studied in the next video. Okay, thank you.